Welcome to our Scituate Cable TV program, Seniorities. Happy to have you with us. My name is Linda Hayes. I am the director for the Senior Center and Council on Aging in Scituate. And I have with me J.D. Miller, as usual, our chairperson for the Council on Aging Board of Directors. We try to bring you topics of interest for both what is happening at the senior center and for seniors in general, the population in general, for the community, as well as what is going on within the community that might be of interest to you all, which you may or may not be aware of otherwise. So we like to at least be able to bring you some news for you to think about. In this case, it is the latter, because we have Kim Stewart with us, who of late is maybe best known for her recent selection as Volunteer Citizen of the Year, which once you hear her talk a little bit about the hat she wears in town here, was really well-deserved, and really pleased for that. That was very nice for you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is great.
You know, she has an official role in town, which is not what we're talking to her about today necessarily, but she is the town or the police department's animal control officer, for which she also does great work for us and probably for many of you. In addition, she is the vice president for SANS, which is known for their disaster recovery relief work for the town of Scituate. And also she's vice president of Community Christmas, which has been an ongoing giving program here in Scituate for some 29 years. As part of that role, there's also been something more recent, nonprofit summit meetings that we wanted to talk about today, but can come back to. And let me turn it over for a minute to Kim, and just maybe give you a minute to introduce yourself.
Sure. First of all, thank you both for having me. This is such a great idea. So as Linda mentioned, I'm the vice chairman for Scituate Community Christmas, as well as SANS, which is a disaster relief organization just for Scituate residents, so we keep it very closed and small and intimate, we like to say. Community Christmas over the past few years has become a year-long giving program, so we are no longer just providing
And that's a change that people need to know about.
Big change.
Yeah.
So we are no longer just providing Christmas gifts for children. We certainly are doing that, and that is one of our main focuses. But we are also now branching out a little bit more, working with the manager of social services and other town departments, the police department, the fire department, to help people in need 12 months a year. So we're also trying to get a little creative. We have recently donated car seats to the police department in case of an emergency, where they have a situation where they need to put a child in a car seat, or if they come across a situation where someone doesn't have a suitable car seat. Now they have these car seats on hand that they can give out, and we have to keep that going because of the ongoing changes in car seats. So that's a bit of a challenge.
Sounds like a good idea, though.
Yeah, we've also donated to the fire department a number of smoke CO detectors for folks that otherwise would not have working smoke COs in their house, which is, as we know, very important.
Yeah.
So we're trying to think out of the box a little bit. We've also donated some dry suits to the Scituate Police Department for emergency rescue in bad weather, which we know is an issue here in Scituate. So, and then along with that, and I'll get to how we were able to do all this in a minute. Along with that, we've also purchased a property here in Scituate. Some of you may be familiar with 125 Manlot Road, which is the old 3A farmhouse. And Patty Scarcelloni used to sell her vegetables and pumpkins, and she used to have a legitimate farm there. Part of that farm was bought by the Scituate Animal Shelter, which is also another charity near and dear to my heart. But the remaining property, a family was living there, and we approached them, Community Christmas, and asked if they would sell the property to us, and we were able to purchase that property in August. And you may ask, how in the world are they doing all this? Many of you who are listening, hopefully, are aware of Susan Pittman. She was an unbelievable volunteer civic organizer in the town of Scituate. And she passed away in 2014, sadly. She battled cancer for 8 years. She left her estate split in half, one half to the animal shelter and one half to Community Christmas. So that's how we were able to make all of these changes. And one of her dreams was to have a location from which to work. we've always sort of kind of gone here and there, put our stuff in storage.
Yeah,
and da, da, da.
yeah.
So this is fantastic, but what we really want to do with the Susan Pittman House, and in keeping with our 12-month giving program, is to use that house as a giving center. So if a nonprofit wants to have a meeting there, if a nonprofit wants to have a board meeting, or they want to have a day where kids come and do a project for the town, we are more than willing to do that and let people use the house. We're also using it for storage for Sands. Community Christmas, obviously we have our toys there. We've just recently opened it up to Moore's Mission. They're the group
I was
that,
gonna, yeah.
Yep, so
good.
we've got them on
That's a
board
good idea.
as well. So not necessarily a Scituate organization, however, they use a lot of Scituate people to volunteer.
Yeah.
So we feel like that's a really good tie-in. So
I think I've got something from
Yeah.
Moore's Mission in my garage that I'm waiting to either drop off, so I can drop it off there. I can drop it off at the house.
we have to go through her. So you
Okay.
have to go through her first. But yeah, so that's a little bit of it's a very small synopsis of what we're doing. I can talk about the
Absolutely.
nonprofit summits if you like.
Sure. Well, back for a minute though, Community Christmas.
Yeah,
So as a
yeah.
12-month organization, so has fundraising sort of become more important for you to be able to provide to all of these different projects
Yes.
and concerns in town?
And also acquiring a property requires more fundraising too. So that's where in the
Because
throes
there's a mortgage on the property?
there is not.
Oh,
we were
well,
able
that's
to
good.
purchase it outright
That's
again
nice.
due to Susan's
Yep.
Susan's legacy,
bequest.
sure.
Yeah, so we were able to, but there's still, as you know, you guys are homeowners.
Really?
It's there's a lot to do. We have to
Right.
make sure that we maintain the property.
Sure.
And that it looks good. We
Yep.
want it to look nice for the community. So yes, fundraising is something that we're actually working on right now. We have our calendar that we do every year. That you probably get in the mail. That raises a good amount of money for us. But we have to, we have a lot to do.
Right, so that's usually October.
Yep, that's
right?
in October, right?
And that goes out for people to make a donation.
Yep, and we're planning to have an event in September to dedicate the home to Susan. We're going to call it the Susan Pittman House. So we'll be unveiling a new mission statement in keeping with everything, a new logo, and sort of our, presenting ourselves to the community in an official
see.
capacity. We've done it sort of here and there like this, but
But
we're
expanded
hoping
and-
to come out in September and really make a splash.
Oh, that's
and
good to
say,
know.
say what we're doing. So.
Any other ideas that you can tell us about in terms of fundraising? Events that you're-
Not
okay.
at this time where I don't want to give out too
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
So. But we are.
I know you're,
and we also,
ideas, you need to make sure they're lined up
Exactly.
and
Well, I
planned
just
as
know you-
ideas before you
You know,
announce
the
them.
initiative for gift giving at Christmas time.
Absolutely,
But I
which
just didn't
is-
know with all of the others. And in particular, for instance, the smoke alarms, the smoke detectors and CO detectors.
Yep.
So that was something that you brought to the fire department, which really has
And
benefited
last year,
many of our seniors.
you were out there helping.
We did
do
do that,
some
and we
installs,
continue
didn't
to
you?
do that
Yeah.
along with the fire department, but I don't think everyone knew that it was supported differently. Originally, it was through the Red Cross. The fire department had received a grant.
Okay.
But that was for a single year's time. Maybe it went into two, but since then, it has been because of community
Yeah,
Christmas.
we were happy to
which-
do that.
Yeah.
So those are the types of things that we want to do more of, and we would like to. What our plan is to sit down with sort of some of the different groups, like the senior groups and the special needs, and say, hey,
So-
what is it that you need? Maybe there's
Right.
something we could do for you to augment what you're already doing, because you're already doing so much.
But for someone to be able to come perhaps through us, unless they maybe went through the fire
Exactly.
department,
Yep.
but to say that there was a need, whether it was for themselves or for someone that they knew, and for us to be able to then relay that to
Yep.
you if
Yep.
that was the kind of need we were talking about.
And again, we use Laura Minier for our vetting process. So if there's a situation that seems like could use a little bit more than what we're able to provide, we'll give her a call. She'll vet that out, and then she has resources beyond what we have. And then we might augment kind of what she's doing in a more intimate way, like a little Scituate way, Just trying to
But,
make
yeah,
it
yeah.
community-ish.
Yes.
And if they're using a bigger resource, maybe we can kind of bring it back to
Sure.
home,
I
a little bit.
understand, yes, because she deals, Laura being the social services manager, social worker for the town, does have resources, whether it's for housing or.
Absolutely, yep.
So how many people would you, how many people are involved in Scituate Community Christmas?
So we have a very small board of 9.
Okay.
We are looking to expand that.
It's not
We're-
that small.
This month, we're actually talking about adding some honorary members. and expanding the board just a little bit, because we're getting a little bit bigger, so we see the need for some, like, technical services is always a big one, right? Financial help, that type of stuff. So we are expanding the board, but
All
it's
right.
it's mainly 9.
Okay.
Because I go to the SANS meetings as an honorary member, not really part of SANS on the board, but just because the information is good and to have the Council on Aging there represented. is nice. So
Absolutely.
we could do that with community.
Absolutely.
Christmas, too,
Yeah.
which would help.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then maybe circling back too, because Community Christmas then and yourself was instrumental in organizing this latest nonprofit summit, series of summit meetings. So there's
Yeah.
been 2, neither JD and I were able to attend.
That's okay.
So, yeah, we're interested just to hear about the
Sure.
impetus for that project and what you had hoped to gain, or,
Sure. I think the idea just came about because you started to realize how many nonprofit groups there are in Scituate.
Well, and there's some overlap, so why are we working
What are we
together as
doing?
opposed to doing things separately all
Right.
the time?
So I think the idea at first, and so we've only had this, we just had one last Thursday, so we've had 2. The idea was for all of us to meet, see who everybody is. I didn't know everybody. I've made some great connections, and we've made some really cool things happen from those connections
Already.
in a very short
Wow.
time. A really big, great thing happened for the food pantry because
great. Okay.
we made some connections. So it's just so exciting. So if nothing
Yeah,
happens,
yeah.
that's one
Right.
thing that, and also knowing what everybody else is doing has been very, very important. Overlap a little bit, yes, definitely. Gaps, definitely. And just the amazing work that everyone's doing.
Sure.
It almost brings
Sure.
you to tears, honestly.
Yeah.
The room is just full of so many giving, compassionate
Yeah.
people who want to just make a difference. One woman stood up from the food pantry. She's not from Scituate. She lives here now, but she said she's never seen anything like this. She's lived in different places. She's never seen anything like Scituate, and the giving and the compassion that we have for each other. You know, it's definitely a big family.
And did you find
Can-
you were aware, I'm sorry.
It's okay. No.
That you
I was
were
going to segue on food pantry.
on Food
Yeah,
Pantry.
Food
All
Pantry's
right.
great.
Well, how did you know about, was it easy to find all of the groups that you might have wanted to come, or were there some surprises, or maybe even people you missed that you didn't realize?
We
were out there?
yes, we didn't get everybody we wanted. It's just ask a busy person, right? Everyone's busy, so that was a little
Right.
bit of a challenge.
That's
so
why they're involved. Is they're
That's
busy.
right. So we did a Saturday and then we did an
Right,
evening to
right.
try to get. So we're still struggling with, and if anybody has any suggestions, we'll
Sure.
take them. What is the best time to do this and to get the most people, right? So I don't know.
I
Right.
do think you're right, varying it
Right.
because something
Because
different for
There's no-
everybody.
there's no
So
one
there's
answer.
No.
There's no
So
one
what
answer.
we did do though is we set up. This was a suggestion. We even had the Chamber of Commerce at which was great. This was her
yeah.
suggestion. She's great, Linda Ferguson. She suggested we put together a secret Facebook group. So we're all part of this Facebook group, so we can put, you know, maybe some needs up there, or we can put like, hey, it's Ship Shape Day. You're actually on it, right?
Yes.
It's Ship Shape Day. Like, why don't you think about getting a team together and go? So those types of things. We are not going to do individual needs on that page because we that's
Right.
confidentiality.
Sure.
Yes.
But other things we can
Okay.
share
The greater
ideas. We
shared
can say,
needs.
hey, who's doing what this month? We were thinking about anybody have a fundraiser going on for September, that type of stuff. So at least we're in touch with each other.
And at least
And that's
organizations
growing.
that should belong or you do want to know about it could connect in that way.
Because
which would be
email is
great.
tough. I mean, we all
It
know
is
our
tough.
emails are just overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And we didn't think we thought that idea might fail, but everybody's on Facebook. We were kind of surprised at the number of people who are really on there.
Organizationally, it is a great tool.
Yeah.
It's a really good tool.
And speaking of which, we had an organizational psychologist come to our last meeting.
Ah.
So I'm still waiting for feedback from her. Like, what does she think? How does she
Right,
think we
right.
should proceed with this? And what did she think of the idea? And how can we make it work? So, so that's kind of where that's
And is
at.
it all right for you to mention a few of the organizations?
Oh, absolutely.
You know, is the
yeah, I'm
clergy
probably going to leave
part-
people out, but yes,
Right,
clergy
yeah.
absolutely
Right,
was
clergy
there.
association.
The seniors were well represented this time, which was fantastic. The food pantry was well represented. We have Obadiah, the comfort dog, was there. We had the animal shelter, which is another huge resource
Sure.
in town too, because there's so many pets and people that need help. Sands was there. We had the Girl Scouts. We had the Boy Scouts. We had Course.
Okay.
She
Right.
was she's fantastic.
Yep.
So yeah, a broad spectrum.
I think you had Rotary there, right?
We had Rotary
Yep.
there. Yep, they came to both meetings.
Yep.
That was fantastic because they're doing a lot of things too quietly.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot quietly, and they've been in existence. You can answer better than me, but for a very long time.
50 years in Scituate.
Yeah, they're a really neat organization. So
They
it was
do-
good
they-
to hear from them
yeah.
for sure.
They're great. They have donated to the senior center, and we actually did talk about them one of our previous programs recently. We had Lucille.
Oh, right,
on to
sure,
talk
yeah.
about
Oh,
Rotary.
okay.
To
Yep.
prime the pump for
Right.
yesterday's big event. So yeah.
We'd like to get some more veterans involved. We had the Women's Auxiliary at the last meeting, not the one we just had, but we'd like to get some more veteran groups, veterans involved, because we'd like to, we're working on something for Christmas for veterans. So we'd like to get a little bit better connected with some veterans groups in town. So if anybody wants to reach out, we'd love to hear from you.
Okay.
I have talked with the food pantry, and we will have a program featuring that resource as
Excellent.
well coming up. But what was it that came out of the meeting that was especially helpful for that?
So the food pantry's doing a lot. The food pantry's, I hope I don't get this wrong. I think it was 260 families that they're serving.
that's
right?
about
Is
right.
that about
Yep.
right? Which is up from the last time I had heard a number from them.
Yeah.
So they're really, and they need our help. And so that's another thing. You know, we can all of us that are doing other things, we can
Yeah.
push. You know, just go buy some canned spaghetti sauce. Or
Well, I
simple
understand in
stuff.
May 12th, I think the post office does their drive.
Yep,
so
and
that's
they're
a big
excited
one
for
them.
that. That's a big one for
Food
them.
drive for the food pantry through the post office in Scituate.
Yep. They're a great organization. They had a number of people represented at the meeting, which was really good, because I think that's kind of like the core of what people need, right? Food is so important. So if we can help them by saying, hey, when you're shopping, this is something that they need, pick up a few extra boxes.
So let me segue here.
Okay, go ahead.
So Rotary's Interact Club, which is the
Yeah.
high school group.
Yep,
yes.
they're fantastic.
Do you know what they've got going on?
I don't know what they have.
Okay, so the Interact group we have an order in, we should maybe get them at the end of the week. This was student planned. So we have ordered bags with the Interact logo, cloth carry bags with the Interact logo.
Okay.
We've ordered 100 of them. They're going to be distributed around town, Council on Aging, probably Village Market, I'm sure, and others. We're going to ask residents to sign up and take a bag. That bag is then to be used for food pantry materials, and the students are going to come and pick up the bags at people's homes once every couple weeks or even maybe once a month on a designated day, and then deliver it to the food pantry.
Oh, that's
So-
fantastic.
So we're printing the bags, they're going to be distributed around town. People will be able to sign up for a bag, take it home, so we have their contact information and or a phone number or certainly an address. And then the students are going to, on designated days, whether it's Saturday morning or Tuesday afternoon, pick up
That's
the cans of
fantastic.
food that are going to be hanging on their front door. So no one needs to be home.
That's
They
great.
just need to put the food out in their bag, and the students will come by and pick it up and then deliver to the food pantry.
Awesome.
So
It is awesome.
Students are so integral too in
Right.
in so much. I know they're very helpful with SANS. We work with Kathleen McCarthy from the high school.
Yep.
She's involved in the Interact Club, I think, too. And
No.
oh, she's not. Okay, she's
least
been
not
a
yet.
great. She's been a great. She's been great because she's able to rally.
She can
students
organize the
in
kids.
like minutes, you
Yeah,
know.
it does.
And when we're setting up the emergency shelter here at the high school. It's
Yeah.
like we're not doing any of the heavy lifting; they're doing it. So
A lot
it's
of the
it's
sports
really,
teams
the
she
sports
has
Yeah,
teams.
organized.
Yep,
right.
yep. She's
The senior center takes advantage of the Interact Club, and they have been wonderful. So these are the
That's
same
good.
kids who
That's great.
helped. Well, we ordered and had
Sand
printed the
buckets.
sand buckets.
right. Yes.
No relation to Sands,
No,
but the
I
sand
know.
buckets.
Yeah.
Right.
And the kids did help go to DPW, fill the buckets, and deliver those buckets to
Right,
some
to
of the
people.
seniors who
That's
needed
great.
them
Right.
this winter, which was great, and last winter. So that was nice. And in addition, they do our tech time both monthly, and then they were integral in our doing the program recently with the iPad training and ongoing support for 8 weeks, which was really
That's
nice.
fantastic.
they're-
It's so
they're-
important
they're
too to
great
get the kids
Yeah.
engaged because they're coming after us, right? When we're not
Right.
here anymore doing this work,
Right.
somebody has to carry
We
on.
want them to,
so
them to have
we
that,
hope, you know.
have that
that basis, you know,
Right.
that want to give, you know, or at least some, you know, some
feel-
of the kids.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So-
And they do it really as, they just see it as part of their life. you
Yeah,
know,
which is
it's,
so
It's not something
important.
that they really sort of decide, well, I guess I'll do that for now, I'll volunteer a little bit. They just volunteer, they just.
So
don't
how
even
many
think twice
kids
about it.
participate in the Interact Club?
See, there's a dozen
It's
at least.
difficult to give you a firm number because it's like herding cats.
Yeah, so it could be 20, it could
But
be
it's
50.
probably there's probably 15 to 20 students that are.
That's great.
But it varies I mean, their availability varies based on the time of year. If they're, you know, if they're
Sports.
involved in or fall sports, they're doing soccer and football and whatever else, and so they
Yeah.
can't make any meetings. And then
Right.
in winter, they might be available, but the kids that are involved in winter sports, so
Yeah, right. Still a great program.
Yeah.
It's a great program.
So they're involved in, you know, raising money themselves. They'll be doing a car wash next month. We've got these bags ordered, and we'll move that program forward soon. So they got stuff going on.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. Getting the kids involved is
Yeah.
so important, you know.
So do you have some thought with the nonprofit, the two meetings that took place, that those will continue
Oh,
on
yes.
either a regular basis or
100%,
periodic?
I mean, we do struggle with timing of them, but I think we're just doing the best we can with that. So 100% we will do another one. I'm thinking probably close to, in the fall.
Sometime-
I'm thinking
skip the
summer
summer.
is, yeah, we probably won't do one in the summer, but we can all still be in touch. And that was
Right.
one of the things I said before the meeting broke was exchange cards, you know, let's be in touch.
Talk among yourselves.
Yeah,
So,
go have a
yeah.
glass of wine
Yeah.
and it's
Who
a
have you
cheese-
connected with
piece
and
of
who-
cheese and
yeah.
a cracker and
Yeah.
you know and make
But in
some-
terms
make
of
some
sharing
connections.
resources potentially among
It's-
the
it's
groups.
huge, yeah,
That's
it's
what,
huge.
what we hope.
And
will
meeting
come
with
out
the
of that.
different stakeholders in town. What do you need? Like what how can we help you? Especially with Community Christmas becoming
Yes.
the 12-month program.
Right.
What kind of neat things do people need that they wouldn't otherwise be able to
Right.
have?
And you do hope to hear that. And so this is ongoing, even preparing for the sort of more traditional Christmas drive that you do.
Right,
This is
right.
an ongoing effort.
Oh,
If you could.
absolutely. Yep.
And how do they contact you when they have either questions or?
Sure.
or-
So our phone number is 781-545-7108. And our email address is info@situatecommunitychristmas.org. And those are both ways of reaching out to us.
Website address? Website?
Yep.
Okay.
We're in the middle of, our website is undergoing reconstruction, but right now,
Okay.
it's www.situatecommunitychristmas.org.
Okay.
Situate
So remember
Community
.org.
Yeah, remember .org.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, just remember .org, exactly.
Very nice.
Yep.
Good. Well, I hope we can make the next one. I know a lot of what
Good, I
was
hope so,
discussed
yeah.
certainly is relevant to the seniors in the community. And,
Absolutely, and how can we, what can we do? We have-
Both for and including, because
Yep.
many times they want to be part of it. We certainly could
Seniors are
help.
part of our giving program at Christmas. We
Yeah.
work with we work with you, Linda, on some people that may
Oh,
need
sure.
a little cheer.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so we're going to add to that a little
Yeah,
bit this year. We
yeah.
got a little something going on with that, so
Oh,
I'm
and-
excited.
And
to
even us having a
do
little
that.
bit of a drive or letting seniors
Yeah.
know what you could use that they
Absolutely.
might be able
They
to
might be,
provide, which
right.
often
That
they
might
are
make them
givers-
feel good.
They are givers too. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's great.
So good.
So Linda might want to talk to you about our age-friendly initiative at some point.
I'm glad you feel like I'm at that age.
Well, all ages.
No, actually, I just thought I'd put you both on the spot, that's all.
Okay, that was your job today, I
Yeah.
know.
Well, that is a introduction to it. But we are beginning this initiative, and it's been something that's been sort of on the docket. It's something that councils on aging, throughout Massachusetts and even nationally are doing. Governor Baker has mentioned making Massachusetts an age-friendly
Right.
state.
Right.
So we are on the threshold, really, and have been lucky enough to have on our board as well a young woman who works with the UMass Gerontology Institute and is one of those people that goes out and helps communities learn to become more age-friendly or start an initiative or a movement to bring the community together to know what resources they might want to target for an age-friendly. So from older adult standpoint, whether
And it
it's...
covers lots of different things.
It
like
does. There are 8
transportation
domains.
in town, or disabilities in town, or
Outdoor
social services,
spaces.
or outdoor spaces, or...
services and just
Yeah.
socialization.
And we've done a
in general,
sidewalk
so-
recently, so that's significant, because it's made it, it's made the community more able to be
Walkable
Walk-
or livable
Age-friendly.
or
Right.
age-friendly.
Right.
And it can be beyond just the older adults, having better access to different things. But if it's more benches or more restrooms,
right.
public restrooms,
Yep. So lots of different things.
Yeah.
walkable areas, sidewalks, of course. So in terms of transportation, we've actually made strides through GATRA and the public sloop, as well as what we do through the Council on Aging. But still, sometimes it's just about communication and making sure they are aware of the available resources. But
That's a good
it is
point.
something that we're moving on. We'll get the town administrator involved in and develop a steering committee. So it will be something to bring to one of those meetings. I realize now
Absolutely.
your segue for that. So we will be talking more about that. It's nice to be able to sort of steer it from Council on Aging, but there's a lot of people who could be instrumental and would be interested and would benefit also from that. So we're really excited.
Yes, we want to
What's
try to
the-
identify stakeholders in town
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
What's the funding mechanism for, creating some of these?
Well, right now,
Is
we
it-
don't necessarily need
Yeah,
that,
there's
but
not- there's
grants
not.
will be
It's not.
available
Grant-
through
I
the
was
state. So
figuring
whether
grants
through
would
Mass
be-
Council on Aging, National Council on Aging possibly, or other outside grant opportunities, we think we could find through the educational institutions that are involved in it too. So should we need that, that's where we go.
Very interesting.
So very good, thank you, JD.
you're welcome.
So you will hear more
Sorry we
about
did
that,
that.
and we're looking forward to bringing that in a future program. I guess if we are ready to close, I don't know, we're good?
I mean, unless there's
Yeah.
something else
Yeah.
that's sort of on
No,
your
I just-
short-term docket in terms of a plan, an
Coming
event.
up,
I don't have,
Anything
we don't
else?
have anything to tell you about right yet.
Okay.
We will be dedicating the house in September. I don't
Yep.
have a date for that. To Susan Pittman, so that'll be something that
That
we will
is-
definitely let people know about. But I
Okay.
appreciate you having me come here. This was,
Yeah.
this was fun.
Good.
It is fun, and we can do this again, absolutely,
Yeah,
as you
great.
have
I
more
hope
to
so.
talk about. I will mention just before we close, this week, it just so happens on Friday, May 4th at 1:30, we are having a community drumming circle. It's our first foray into this newer trend, movement, so to speak. Some councils on aging are doing it on a regular basis, but we were lucky to receive a grant through the Scituate Cultural Council, which we've been able to do for the last few years for other things. But it's a community offering, all are welcome. We can have up to 75 people coming in. The South Shore Conservatory is facilitating the program and providing the drumming instruments, hand drumming, and we'll have some refreshments afterwards. So it is at the community building at 44 Jericho. We would like to know who's coming so that we do have enough drums on hand for everyone, and we'll do some refreshments afterwards just so we can talk about how fun that was. But it really has a lot of wellness benefits in addition to the community and the socialization and the music, which some people don't get to hear enough really, but just and the cultural, which is a little bit more inherent in the drumming aspect. But there should be a lot going on, and it should be a lot of fun. So we hope to have the amount of people that we can accommodate there.
So this Friday, May 4th,
Friday,
at what
May
time?
4th, 1:30.
Okay.
For an hour, and then with some refreshments to follow, which is actually nice timing because I believe the Scituate Harbor Art Walk and First Friday is also Friday, May 4th.
okay,
this
sure.
coming. So you could just
Segue.
move
Yeah.
right on down, walk
down
down
the
to the
street.
harbor. I'm sure
Yep.
it'll be beautiful weather because this week is supposed to be 80s every day, I think. Already summer
Yeah, I
on the
know.
first week of May. It's 50 degrees today as we speak here. So that was one thing I wanted to mention. Also, our newsletter is coming, but not quite in the mail yet, so it should be in the mail tomorrow, which is May 1st. So it may be a day later than people would like to have received it, and that was due to our publisher having some equipment breakdowns, and so we just didn't get it in time to get it out last week. There was one mistake I wanted to mention because people will call about this, but Mother's Day was inadvertently printed as Friday, May 11th, which is not the case. We are doing a small luncheon on Tuesday, May 8th. But please call the Senior Center
I was
with
going to
any
say, how
questions.
could you make a mistake on Mother's Day?
Well, for our event for Mother's Day, it's tough scheduling wise, and we were trying to combine it with something else. So anyway, when you see that,
So
if you're
it's
interested,
the-
just call the Senior Center and we'll clear
It's
that
the
up.
Tuesday after Mother's Day.
It's the
which
Tuesday
is, I
before,
think- Oh,
May 8th.
okay.
Tuesday, May 8th.
Because Mother's Day is the 13th, right?
I think
Sunday?
so.
Okay.
I think so. And last but not least, there's been an ongoing program that began in March on the second and fourth Tuesdays. I thought I would also mention because people have seen the sign in front of the Pier 44 building as well. the 50 and over job seekers networking group. So for 50 and beyond, for people interested, whether they're looking for a job, have been looking for a job, have retired, and are just thinking of transitioning into a second career, encore career or job opportunity. It's been a really nice group for 3 meetings up to this point, but it is ongoing at least into the summer, we believe. So if anyone is interested in that, please just call the Senior Center. We have a great facilitator who is not only doing it for us, but is doing it through the Massachusetts Council on Aging for other communities, and it's been very successful. And it's a nice age demographic running really from 50-somethings all the way through people in their 70s who are interested in continuing to work, which so many are by choice, because it's of interest to them, and there's so many things we can continue to do beyond the initial retirement.
There's a big benefit in sharing your space in those situations with, and knowing that other people are in the same space.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I'm not alone.
Right.
I'm experienced, looking for new opportunities, et cetera, and the world's against me. No, they're not.
No.
There's a networking group that can be supportive and maybe network into other things that you didn't know about.
And there are differences today when you are looking for resources. So much is online that some people are
Right.
less aware of some of those
Right.
opportunities that they can find.
Can be a big benefit for
Yeah,
people.
yeah. So that is what I wanted to mention. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for coming, Kim. It
Thank
was
you
really
for
nice to
having me.
have you.
Yes,
That was
nice
great
to have you, Kim.
information.
Take care.
Okay, JD, thanks. Till next time.
We'll see you
Good
soon.
night.